So in this video we are going to create the profile page. Okay, so you see within this drop down for our user, so we have another item for the profile. Okay, so by the way, this is the demo of our application, and this shows us the profile, and which is just nothing but the image or the avatar of the user. Okay, and then the name of the user and then the email. Okay, so these are all the user details that we are going to provide within the profile page, and besides this we are going to list all the properties of the particular logged in user. Okay, so we are not showing all other properties but only for the properties that the user has created. Okay, so you see this is the property which I just created for the sake of demo, and we are just listing this just because this user has created that. Okay, so let us build this particular page. So back to my code, let us create a route to /profile, and there we can start building the profile page. All right, so let us create a particular folder named profile. So this will create a route of /profile, and within there we just need to create a page.tsx, and within this file let's sketch our component, and this didn't work. Okay, and let's call this profile, and we are just going to show the text of profile. Okay, and after this we are just going to the header file, and we are just want to add in another item within our drop down list for our user, and there we just need to add in the profile and navigate to the /profile route when we click on that. Okay, so let us go to the header.tsx, and this is the component which is rendering the list. Okay, the drop down list. So where is that? So it's right here. We are just passing the items array. Okay, so within this items array we have the saved properties and a button to log out. So let's add another item within our array, and this should close here. I just messed this up. So I'll just duplicate this item and call the key as profile, and the label to be a profile with capital letter, and when we click on this button, so it should navigate us to /profile or just profile. Okay, and with that saved, we can now just go back to our application, and now if I just refresh, and yeah, there we go. So when I click on this profile, it should take us to /profile. Okay, so there we see just a generic name profile, because that's what we provided within our page.tsx. Okay, so let's now go ahead and create a server action to retrieve all the user listed properties. Okay, so within our actions file we have already created a function where we get all the user details, right? So this is the function. So we include all the other tables that is related to the user, such as the saved properties. So we have already done this in the last video, so we just include that along with the images. Okay, and also the received messages. Okay, so we are just going to reuse this particular server action within our page.tsx within the profile page. Okay, so we can just to get the user, we can just directly mark this function as async function, since this is a server component. Export default async function, and then we can make a call to our server action. Okay, so we store that within a particular constant, let's say user properties, and set this equal to await, and then the get user function. Okay, so that is coming from the actions file, and we just need to call this, and this says we just need to pass in an argument. Okay, so to pass in an argument, we need to get the session for the logged in user session. Okay, so we cannot make this on the server side. So since users that are logged in are always like verified on the client side, right? So we need to destructure that from the use session hook that is provided by Next.js. So let us get that session object that is coming from data, and we can rename that to session, and that is coming from the use session hook provided by Next.js. Okay, so use session, so that is coming from Next.js/react. So we get that particular session from this Next.js, and we just need to mark this particular component as a client component, since we are using hooks inside this. Okay, and here now we cannot mark this particular function as async function since this is a client component now. So I just wanted to show you that, and after this we are now going to create a use effect. Alright, so this is going to take in a function, and for the dependencies we are going to provide the session. Alright, so if I go back to the actions file, we are just receiving the saved properties but not the user created properties. Okay, so my bad, I just got confused in the deep. So let us also create a function to get the user listed properties. So let us create an async function. We can just say get user properties, and this is going to receive the user ID, which is going to be type number. Alright, and inside the body of the function we are going to open a try catch and make a call to our server action, the database, by fetching the property information related to the user. So try catch, and inside this try block let's get the response and set that equal to await db dot property dot find many. Okay, so we are going to get a array of properties, so we just need to specify the conditions, like where the user the owner ID should be the particular user ID that is passed in. Okay, so we are getting all the properties where the owner of the particular property matches the user ID that we are passing in. Alright, and also we want to include the images, so include and set the images property to be true. Alright, and this should be a comma here, and this should come outside the where clause like this, and let's set the response and return it. Okay, so let's add a comma here, and let's finally return the response. Okay, so if we get the response then we return it, otherwise we just throw the error. Okay, so return response, and if there is any error we can just console error and just say that failed to fetch properties and pass in the error. Okay, so and then pass in the error. Okay, so let's finally export this function. So get user properties, and once I save this and go back to my page.tss, I should be able to import this. Okay, so let us open a try catch, or we need to create the function as an async function, so we cannot mark the use effect function directly as asynchronous. So we can just create another function, let's say fetch user properties, and we just need to call that. So we can just create that function, and set the value, set this to a function, and which is going to let's check if the user is actually signed in or not. So by providing an if check, and let's check if the session dot user exists. So okay, and then we are just going to fetch the properties by passing in the user ID. Okay, if not it just throws an error. We just don't want that unexpected application error, right? So let's create a properties and set that to await, and call the server action, that is get user properties, and then we just need to pass in the user ID. Okay, so since this should be in the form of a number, I'm just going to convert that to a number and set session dot user dot id. All right, and by this we store the properties over here, and also we need a state where we can set the properties, and so that it is available globally within our file. So let's create a properties and set properties, okay, and this is going to be of type property with images, the custom type that we defined in one of those videos, and the initial value is going to be an empty array. Okay, so let's import this type. So we don't get any suggestions unfortunately, but sorry, this should be property with images, and let's try to import this. Okay, and this should be an array of that. Okay, so now we are storing all the properties over there, and let's check if properties exist, or if we are getting a response in the first place. So properties, and then we set the properties state to this properties. Okay, so that's done, and now we can go to the return function and create our JSX. Okay, so I'll just show you whether we are getting the properties or not. So if I just log the properties to the console, and now if I just go back to the application and open my console, so since it's a client component, you will see the properties here. So now if I just open this up, so this is the session actually, and so I'm getting an empty array since I do not have any properties created for this account. So I'll just quickly create a property and just show you, just for the sake of testing. So now you see that I have two properties. So there was already a property assigned to this user which initially was showing an empty array. So right now I created another property by the name test. So now we have two properties for this particular user. Okay, so now by accessing all the particular information that we get within the response, we can just create a property card which is already created, and then we can just pass in the particular values. Okay, and let's go ahead and do that. So let's replace this div tags, or just give it a class name of container, and inside this container we are just going to show this in the form of grid. Okay, so name of the user and the email, so within this particular card. So this is going to take 1/3 of the particular width, and the rest of that is going to be a list of all the properties. Okay, and notice that this is a horizontal layout, and for the vertical layout we have just used that within our home page. Okay, so we can just use that by passing the prop of the layout, and then choose either we want a horizontal or a vertical layout. So let's go back and let's use the undefined grid. So we set row, and that is auto imported, and let's set the gutter to 32 by 32. So this will give us space on x axis and y axis. So inside this row we are just going to render a first column which is going to display the user information. So how do we get that user information? By this session object that we are making use of from the Next.auth library, right? So let's import call, and inside that we are going to specify the responsiveness. So for a small screen size, it is going to take in the entire viewport width, and also on the large size, on the large screen size, it's going to be 8, which means that we are displaying 1/3 of the full screen to show this particular column, that is the user information. So inside this call, let's render the card item, okay, from design. So and inside this card we are going to first show the image of the user. So image is also, like, it's optional. If you would like to use it, you can. So it's I think a good feature that we can use. So let's import the next image. Okay, so this is a image from Next.js, and this is used for image optimization. So this will optimize your images internally, so and gives you the best optimal image to be displayed. And I have also made a video on how this Next.js image actually works. You can just check that out. And inside this, let us give the source that is coming from the session.user.image. Okay, so we have a image property within our user, and then we can annotate this to be as string. All right, and apart from this, we can give the tag of alt and set this to user, and let's set the width to 100 pixel, and also the same for the height. And apart from this, let's also give the class name of profile image, and also the spacing at the bottom of MB-1. And yeah, that's it for this particular Next.js image, and we can just close this up. Okay, and once we save this will auto format, and also we can show in the username and the email. Okay, so we have given a spacing on the bottom. So let's render this within a h3 tag by giving this class name heading and text dash center, and inside this let us give the name of the user, that is coming from session dot user dot name, and then let's show the email of the user by using a paragraph tag and passing in the session dot user dot email. Okay, so if you feel that this is too long to type, you can just destructure few values from the session object, okay, and then you can annotate the values directly inside this tags. Okay, so this is for the first column. So if I just say, sorry, I think I gave a wrong class name, so this should not be profile and heading, sorry, the heading and text center. This should be just margin at the bottom of one rem and also at the top. Okay, so now it should look better. Yeah, okay, so we have the name and the email. So this is the all for this particular column. Okay, so this particular column, let's also show the title over here, like my profile over here. So let's go right above the card and let's give a h1 of class name heading, and let's say my profile. Okay, and we should be able to see that. Okay, and yeah, there we go. So now we need to display the properties on the right side. Okay, so that's all for this first column. So now let's move on to the second column and list all of our properties. Okay, so right below the closing tag of the first column, we can open another column, and over here we are going to again do the same responsive design for this, and this is going to be 16. Okay, so we are using 2/3 of the space for showing the properties, and inside this let's put in a heading saying of class name heading and saying my property listings. Okay, and right below this we can now import the property card that we created as a component. And okay, so this is a component that we are reusing in every page wherever we want to display the property. Okay, so let us directly import that. So property card, okay, or property cards, and then we expect the properties prop to be passed in, and we just need to pass in the properties that we are receiving in the form of state over here. Okay, so we can just get rid of this console log and then we can close this up. Okay, and also we need to provide the layout, I guess. Okay, so that's what has been missing within this type. So let's provide the layout to be horizontal and set that to horizontal. And yeah, so once I save this and go back, and if I give this a refresh, I don't know why you need to refresh every time. So this is a problem, I guess, within my application. So let's wait for it, and there we go. So we are listing all the particular properties that are being created as the user that is logged in. Okay, so these are the two properties that I just created, and if I just now go to my other account and just try to access this particular page, I should be able to only see those properties that I created as that user. Okay, so I have logged in to another account and I have not created any property with this account, so that is why this is showing empty. Okay, so also I can put in a message saying that no data available or something like that. So it's very simple. Let's do that. So let's put a check here by rendering this conditionally. So if properties dot length, okay, so this is an array, right? So you can access the length property in it and check that if it is equal to 0. Okay, if that is not equal to 0, then we list the property cards, else we do something else. Okay, so we can within this block we can use the empty item from and design. Okay, so if you search for and design to show a empty component, so maybe it's this, I'm not sure. Yeah, so this is the component which you can just show where you don't have any items to show. Okay, so this is just a nice feature which you can just try adding. So let's import that empty from and design and just show that. Okay, so let's check if we are getting this, and yeah, that looks good. And maybe we can just pass in another message saying that let's see, yeah, we can also provide any image if we want, and also we can just customize the description as well. We have a prop maybe saying description or something like that. So let's try description and just set that to no properties. No listed properties would sound better. And I save this and just see, and I get no listed properties. Okay, so that looks good, just a cool feature that we have just added. So and also remember that this particular page shouldn't be accessed if the user is not logged in. Okay, so now if I just log out from this page, so you see that I am still able to access this page, but we do not find any information since the session object is undefined. So we do not get any information about the user. So let us go to the middleware that we created in one of those videos where we restrict routes, and by providing this routes within this array, so we also need to add in the /profile route to say the middleware that this is a protected route, and it will check if it is this particular route is there within this array, then it will just navigate us to the home page. Okay, so it will not let us even access this page. So even we have not created this particular button, we are only showing the button of /profile or the profile button whenever we are logged in. Okay, so even the user cannot go to this /profile manually. Okay, so now if I give it a refresh, so you see that it navigates us back to the home page and saying please sign in to access this page. Okay, so this is all for this video. So I hope you liked it. So this is how you build a profile page within any Next.js application in general. And yeah, so that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.